Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It's often said that nobody watches games for the announcers, which is 99% true, and also a weird site built on sports announcers to admit. But if there ever was a game where someone was going to watch for the person in the booth, it was the debut of $350 million man Tom Brady in Week 1 on Fox as the Dallas Cowboys played the Cleveland Browns. Brady's debut produced mixed results. For someone who is unquestionably the GOAT of the NFL, Brady sounded nervous and unnatural when the game started before settling into a rhythm in the second half. While he may turn out to be the broadcasting GOAT in due time, he's definitely got a long road ahead of him to get there. But as for the viewership, the combination of Tom Brady in the booth and America's team on the field predictably produced big numbers for Fox. The game drew 23.8 million viewers, ranking as Fox's most-watched Week 1 telecast since 2020. And it was up 46% versus last year's corresponding Week 1 game. While that's a great number and the 46% increase might be an enormous indication that this game was must-see TV, it actually comes with a huge asterisk. Last season, both Fox and CBS had nationally televised games at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time in Week 1, splitting the audience. In fact, according to Sports Media Watch, the 2020 date corresponds to the last time that Fox and CBS did not both air Week 1 doubleheaders against each other. Fox probably would have hoped for an even larger number given the ratings power of the Cowboys and the fact that it was the most hyped broadcasting debut maybe ever. Of course, what matters most above all is the game. And the rating would have been a lot bigger had the Browns been competitive in what quickly turned into a Cowboys blowout, although there may have been a few fans stick around to see what the Browns have brought upon themselves with Deshaun Watson. Mike Zimmer and Cowboys defense dominate in Cleveland. In the debut game for the new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, the Dallas Cowboys defense show their ability to own the game. Mike Zimmer got to test drive his newly refined defense with the Cowboys this Sunday, and he did not disappoint. With an incredible showing of 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss, and double-digit quarterback hits, the Dallas Cowboys defense had a lot to celebrate. The most exciting part of it all? Zimmer's likely to do it all again this upcoming Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. Mike Zimmer and Cowboys defense dominate in Cleveland. Defensive line play. What was incredible about the defense has to start with the defensive line. Both Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence did an exceptional job of putting pressure on the quarterback early on. Deshaun Watson struggled to get the game going in that first half, and a big piece of that is due to these two guys. The defensive tackle play can be stepped up a little bit more to be pivotal. Jordan Phillips was able to break through the line and clean up the pressure with a sack, but even more plays like that against the Saints would show a locked-in D-line. Linebacker mayhem. If anyone was questioning the addition of a player like Eric Kendricks to the Dallas Cowboys defense, they aren't now. Kendricks came onto the team well aware of the Zimmer defense mentality since Kendricks played for Zimmer during his time with the Minnesota Vikings. All that time together surely paid off because Kendricks crushed it in his first game in navy blue, creating 2 sacks and a tackle for a loss, as well as his awesome interception tipped by Parsons. A player who was even more astonishing was the once-injured DeMarvion Overshown. Overshown led the defense in total tackles with a sack of his own. Clearly, it seems as though his ACL injury is long behind him and we get to see a guy who has the capacity to shut down the run. There isn't much room for improvement for these guys. They played dynamically and owned the field the moment they stepped on it. There's no chance the Saints change that on Sunday. Beasts in the backfield. The corners and safeties didn't get many highlights this past game, but it's mainly because they did their job. They stayed on their guys, preventing any exceptionally long passes or yards after the catch. Trayvon Diggs, in his first game since the ACL tear last year, caught a ball for an interception, one of many to be expected this season. Jordan Lewis also played a really great game, breaking up some key plays and making tackles when needed. The same could be said about rookie Kalen Carson, who stepped up well in Darren Bland's spot and shut down Amari Cooper from making major plays on 2 occasions. This Cowboys defense will need to prove their ability to shut down the run, something Carolina failed to do. New Orleans rushed for a high 180 yards. If anything is going to be ample in this game, it's their need to shut down that run game before it begins, similar to how they did with the Browns. If the Cowboys can do that, then they have nothing to worry about this season. Bill Belichick compares Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to legendary NFL duo. Bill Bellichick draws a surprising parallel between the Cowboys' Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and a legendary NFL duo, highlighting their potential to dominate the league. Legendary coach Bill Belichick recently drew a striking comparison between the Dallas Cowboys' dynamic duo of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and the legendary San Francisco 49ers tandem of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Speaking about the challenges defenses will face against the Cowboys this season, Belichick harkened back to his days trying to contain Montana and Rice. More, Dallas Cowboys receive high praise after dominating in Week 1 victory. Yeah, well, I sit back and think about a lot the Tuesdays that I had trying to stop Montana and Rice, he said. Those are the 2 guys in San Francisco, Lamb and Prescott, those that you guys were talking about with the Cowboys. Bill Belichick compares Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. #Cowboys, via the coach, pic.twitter.com/idrh2dqp53. Belichick's admiration for Montana is clear. He referenced the Hall of Fame quarterback's impressive career statistics, including 273 touchdowns and a 92.3 passer rating. You think about how good Montana was. I mean, the numbers are just staggering, Bellichick remarked. But it's the comparison to Prescott that's raising eyebrows. Belichick highlighted Prescott's impressive 2023 season under Mike McCarthy's new offensive system, where he threw for 4,500 yards and achieved a 105 quarterback rating. Prescott had a tremendous year last year, Belichick said. If he can maintain that same type of production this year. Dallas is going to be tough. They'd be a hard team to beat all year, but this will be a big challenge for the defenses. Bellichick and Jones have a close relationship, according to ESPN, and the Cowboys' current coaching situation is tenuous. After this year, McCarthy's contract ends, and another divisional round playoff exit would almost certainly see the owner decide to look elsewhere for a coach. Who better for Dallas to get than one of the winningest coaches of all time? And how good would that look for Belichick, who would have a chance to bring playoff success to a team that, in this scenario, has gone a quarter century without advancing past the divisional round? We'll have to see going forward, but if things play out a certain way, Belichick could find his way back into the NFL next year.